First of all, this freaking series had me like balling.
Funny how you think I need you, but honestly I don't need anything. Like what you see you can look, but I won't let you touch up on anything. I'm independent, I'm self-sufficient, and I don't need a wedding ring.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I actually have came up with an idea. Well, not an idea. I actually wanted to start doing something new on my channel because I've been thinking about doing this for a long time now, and I don't know why. I've just never done it. But this time I was just like, you know what, Trinity? Do it. Like, just do it. This is gonna be a new thing added to my channel. I do want to start doing a lot more reviews on movies and TV shows, because all I'm ever doing is watching movies and TV shows, especially when I'm at work. So I'm like, and I have so many shows that I really enjoy and I like, or movies that I really like, or some movies that I don't like, and I just be wanting to talk to somebody and tell somebody. So I'm like, you know what, let me start talking about it like on YouTube, whatever. So this is about to get a little I don't want to say serious, whatever, because I'm gonna try. I don't want to start crying like I did in like my R. Kelly video. I don't want to just be crying all the time. Just for a disclaimer, as you guys know, this is a review, so it's going to be a lot of spoilers and stuff. I'm new to this whole review thing, so I feel like this goes without saying. Like, you should know that if you're clicking on this video, but just saying, spoiler alert. So if you have not seen it, go watch it if you don't want to like know anything. If you don't want me to spoil anything, go watch it and then come back to this video and let me know how you feel about it. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the Netflix miniseries When They See Us. And honestly, when I first saw it, not when I first saw it, but like I saw it on Netflix. I didn't know exactly what it was. I didn't know what was going on. Like, I just saw like the little preview. I was looking at it and I was just like, at first, I'm not even gonna lie, I saw the little kid. I believe his name was, what is his name? Asante Black. He plays Kevin Richardson in this movie, and honestly I thought it was Poussey from like Orange is the New Black. I don't know why, but like they low-key favor each other. Not trying to like disrespect in a way, whatever, but like when I first saw it, I thought it was her, and I was like, oh, what movie is she doing now, whatever. So I looked at it and like I seen the preview and I was like, yo, I have to watch this. So I just clicked on it and I watched it. And what this story is about, I don't know if any of you guys ever heard, well, hopefully you guys have heard. I know I didn't. I heard of the name, but I didn't know much about it. I wasn't really educated on the matter. But what this story is about, the Central Park 5, which is basically a story about 5 young kids, and let's just keep that in mind, young kids who were wrongfully convicted of a rape and battery. I believe it was battery, or like beaten. I want to say battery, or I'll just say rape because I don't know for a fact, but for raping a white woman who was jogging in the park. This story was directed by Ava DuVernay, and if you guys don't know who Ava DuVernay is, she is a director who is responsible for movies like A Wrinkle in Time, Selma, and honestly I have to say this freaking series, because at first I thought it was a movie, and then I'm like, is this a show? I didn't know. When I first watched it, I didn't know it was based on true events until they said the name. When they said Central Park 5, I was like, I know this story. I'm like, I knew this sounds so familiar. Please let me know if you guys heard of the Central Park 5 or you heard of this story before seeing the show, before seeing When You See Us. And also let me know if you guys seen the series and how'd you guys feel about it and stuff like that, because honestly I was livid. I was so mad watching this, especially the first episode. Like, okay, I'm just gonna get into it. First of all, this freaking series had me like balling. This is not an easy movie to watch, like at all. Like, I literally was in tears the entire time watching this. Like, the first episode, I was livid. Like, I was pissed off watching it. Like, you can even ask my boyfriend. I was sitting there, I'm like, there's no, like, I'm arguing with the TV. I'm like, there's no way that they can do this. Like, all this is illegal. Like, I was getting so mad. Like, I have no idea. And I was getting so sad. Like, it was just like so many emotions going on, especially within that first episode. Because you gotta remember, these are kids. They're literally 14, 15, 16, wrongfully convicted. They were how do you say that? They were coerced into admitting to a rape that they never committed. And that they never, committed, right? Is that the word? They never committed. Yeah, they never committed the crime. So basically, the first episode, it was literally, you get the whole gist of everything. Like, they introduced the 5 boys. Yusef is one of the kids. He was supposed to be one of, like, you know, like the kid who was just, like, smart kid who was really quiet, not really into, like, much, just minding his business kind of thing. Then you had Raymond Santana. He was Spanish. I want to say he was, like, Spanish. And he I think he was more of, like, the cool kid, kind of. Like, he was, like, in the beginning, like, they had him talking to the girl. He had his shades. He was just chilling, minding his business. Then you had Kevin Richardson, who was the youngest one out of all the boys. He was 14 years old. He wanted to grow up to be a trumpet player, and there was a part in this movie that literally had me, like, I don't know if y'all saw, but, like, at the point when, like, they were playing, like, they were about, I don't know if it was when they were about to get convicted, but it was just a point in the movie where, like, he was sitting in the street and he was playing the trumpet. Yo, that junk made my heart, like, oh, like, yo, y'all gotta imagine, like, oh my god, like, I felt that, because it's just like, now he can't even do that no more. He can't follow his dreams because he's wrong. He's in jail for something that he did not do. So, and then you have Antron, who was also just a young kid minding his business. Then Cory Wise, who is the oldest out of the group, and I would say they all had really, really sad stories, no doubt about it, but there's a specific reason why his made me so much more mad. Not more mad, because I was angry with everything, but, like, with his, he literally was not even supposed to be there. But we're gonna get there. We're gonna get to that part. Man, when I tell you, this boy, yo, I don't know if you guys know Jarrell Jerome. I remember him from Moonlight. He was in Moonlight. But this kid, yo, he's going places. Like, I don't care what you say, he's phenomenal. Like, he is a phenomenal actor, because I literally, and even in that first episode, I was watching him, and, like, the way he was, like, oh my god, I'm about to even cry just thinking about it. I can't. So you get a little gist of, like, them, and honestly, all they're doing, they're just, like, minding their business, and eventually they all end up going to the park. Mind you, none of these kids know each other. The only people that knew each other was Yusef and Cory. I don't know if it's Cory or Carrie. And Cory. They were the only 2 people who knew each other. And then the other kids, they had no idea who the rest of these kids were. So I'm just like, oh my god, watch. Oh my god. Okay, whatever. So they all just ended up going to the park with, like, a whole bunch of other kids or whatever. And you know how, like, you have, like, a big group. You're going, first of all, you're in Central Park. I don't know if any of you guys have been to New York, but Central Park is fucking huge. Central Park is a huge ass park. There's no way that you can just pinpoint this onto the 5 kids, because I'm pretty sure that there was, like, mad other people in the park. There's no way that they were the only ones. Ugh. And this is gonna get me to another point, but I'm gonna get back to it. So basically, they're in the midst of going to the park and wilding. Whatever wilding means. Ask somebody, what is wilding? Don't ask your other friend who don't know what wilding is. Ask someone who knows what wilding is. But y'all wanna take things and act like y'all know what you're talking about, and flip the script into something else that you don't even know. So they went into the park, and then basically at the same time, while they were in the park, there was a white woman. She ended up getting raped in the park. Raped and beat, I believe. She got in the park, and basically Miss fucking Linda Farstein, or whatever the this bitch name, I don't know, she was the lawyer or whatever, the cop on the case, I don't know what the she was, because I just, watching it, I was just, like, so mad. But she literally, all she wanted to do, she just wanted to have someone to pin it on. Clearly, that's what it seemed like. And even watching it, the way she was talking in that first episode, calling them animals, and then the fact that she was like, she said, all the black boys in the park is a suspect. Mind you, we're in Central Park, where there's I won't say millions, but, like, there has to be about, like, 100, probably 50 people or whatever in that freaking park, because that's a huge park. And the only thing she said is all the black boys are suspects in this rape. That already was just like, what? Like, that turned me the wrong way. The fact that she called them animals, it was just like the way she was handling the whole thing was just wild. It just seemed like she was just trying to have someone to pin it on. And then what pissed me off, which was getting me so mad, that it was just like everything that they were doing was illegal. Like, they coerced them into confessing into a rape that they did not commit. Mind you, they did not even know each other. So it was just like, watching this, it was just like, oh, I was just getting so angry because it was just like, why? Like, I don't know. So basically, all they did throughout this entire movie, they emotionally manipulated these kids. They had them and being interrogated for hours and hours and hours with no bathroom breaks, no food. And then at that point, you gotta imagine, like, and then it was just like all they wanted to do, like, they're kids, like, all they want to do, they just want to go home. Like, I just want to go home. And like, that's all they were saying. Like, I just want to go home. I just want to go home. I want this all to be over. No matter how many times they told them the truth, they was not letting them leave until they heard what they wanted to hear. And they even got to the point where the father, who was played by Michael Kenneth Williams, I think that's his name, he got to the point and he was just like, I want my son to go home. Listen to what these police are saying. Do what you have to do to go. And it was just like, oh goodness, I was mad at that. That pissed me off too. I'm not even gonna lie. But it's like you can't even blame them, because like at that point, like, he don't know better. Like, he don't know. So eventually, I don't know how, which I still feel like you can't do either. Like, you can't just take a random person that's not even in holding, or you're not even supposed to be interrogating. You can't just take a random, that's like interrogating like your mom out of nowhere. Like, even though she's not a suspect. Like, it's just like, you can't do that. That's why this whole thing, it was just all pissing me off, because everything done was done so incorrectly. They were taking advantage of their power and like literally just getting what they wanted out of the situation, and they didn't get in trouble for it. Like, it was so wild to me. And guys, y'all gotta remember, this is not that long ago. This was in 1989. That was 30 years ago. 30 years is not that old. I'm 24. So I was born in 1995. Like, this shit was not that long ago. And like, these things still happen now. And like, that's the one thing that we really need to understand. Things like this happen all the time. People get wrongfully convicted all the time. So I think they got $1 million every year that they were in prison, that they had to split. And I feel like there's something needs to be done about that. Especially if you're wrongfully convicted. I feel like that y'all need to find a way for when people get out of jail, because that was another thing in this movie that I thought was so, well, this miniseries that I thought was like so powerful. Like, Ava DuVernay, she really did her thing with this. Like, she did her research, she looked into it, and she found a way to make it like, she knew how to make us feel. Like, she knew how to make us feel for them. And I feel like this is really important. I like when they show things like this, because a lot of people don't know about these things that are going on. And then it's like, when you put it in a movie or in a way that lets people like capture like literally like how the person is feeling, because the actual 5 from the Central Park 5, they were involved in this movie heavily. Like, they were there, I want to say, like, probably all the time, like giving them notes, telling them what to do. And they even said, they was like, this is crazy watching this, because it really depicts everything that we've been through. Like, it's a lot of them, they were I'm about to cry. I don't want to cry. They were like crying and like, I don't know. So they were heavily involved with this movie. So everything that you guys see, I'm pretty sure it was depicted really accurately, because they were really heavily involved in it. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie, because I didn't really know the story of the Central Park 5. So I was like begging, I was like, please. I didn't know, like, it was like a weird part of me. It was like, I knew that they got convicted, but it was like, I forgot that they ended up getting convicted, and I forgot that they actually ended up going to jail, because I was like, oh my god, I really can't wait until this lady wake up. She gonna wake up, she gonna go to trial, she gonna be like, yo, listen, this is not what happened, like, blah 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 blah. But that I should have known that. I should have known that wasn't gonna happen, because that was what the whole story was about. And then it was just like, it was crazy, because they found a sock that had like semen in it, or like, you know, fluids or whatever in it, that did not match any of the kids. And they was just like, I don't care, I'm fighting for this is what happened or whatever. And they just wanted to blame it on some black kids. And that's what Linda Ferguson did, bitch. They had to do 13 to 14 years. It's your time. It's your time. It's your time. Because if it wasn't for you, and that was another, oh my God. Please. This is why I can't talk about shows, because I'm all over the place. I get mad, I get angry, I'm just all over the place. But that was another thing that got me mad, because it was just like, it was her, or it was that girl from Power. I don't know her name, but she was Angela from Power, and I wish she took that case, because if she would have took that case, she already knew. Like, she was saying, like, she was like, oh, you're gonna need it. Like, you're gonna need this help, because the way that she was acting, like, she even saw that she was acting crazy. But I wish she took that case, because maybe none of this would have had even happened. So yeah, they ended up getting convicted, and honestly, that scene was so sad. I don't know why. Like, I really was thinking, like, not guilty. I don't know why. Like, knowing that they do end up getting guilty, I still had hope that they would not be guilty. I was hoping that the lady would end up waking up and telling her side of the story. I was hoping that when they brought up that sock, and it was crazy because when they brought up the sock, they all got so happy. Like, you saw like the smiles on their faces. You like was just like, they were lit up. They was like, oh my God, we have a chance. I felt like, oh my gosh, they have a chance. Completely forgetting, like, no, they don't. I know how the story ends. I know what happens. They end up going to jail. And it was just like, that scene was just so wild. That was when they played the trumpet. I think after they said the guilty, I believe that is when they did the trumpet scene, and that really got to me, because I was just like, damn, like, he ain't even gonna be able to do that. He can't even do that. Oh, that really got to me. Second episode was the trial, more based on the trial, and I believe this is where you see most of the parents. They all start to come in. And I just thought it was so wild, because I don't know who she was. I think she was the lawyer for the girl. What is her name? Vera Farmiga. She's in a whole ton of stuff. Like, she was in Bates Motel. She was in Orphan. So if you guys don't know who I'm talking about, this is who I'm talking about here. But it was wild, because she was talking to the detective at one point, and he even knew, because they found out about the sock. When they started talking about the sock, he was like telling her, like, yo, like, this ain't right, especially because of that. And she literally was like, it's not about justice, it's about politics, and politics is to survive, blah blah blah. And I'm like, what? Like, no, who, what? Like, is that the way y'all think? Like, is that the way y'all lawyers are thinking? Because if so, we need new lawyers, because that is not okay. Like, whenever you are fighting, you're fighting for justice. I don't care. Like, that's the whole point. Politics, and like, what politics in that? Like, I didn't understand that. I'm like, what politics in that? The politics to make black men look bad? To make us black men look like rapists? Like, I didn't get it. Like, I'm like, what political thing could this possibly be for? Like, to keep us at the bottom? Like, I was really confused by that statement, and I'm like, no, it should be about justice. You know this is wrong. She knew it was wrong, because she was even telling freaking Laura Larnderson this. She was telling her, like, these are kids, blah 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 blah, but at the same time, she still was doing it. What you mean this ain't for justice? It should be for justice. That's the whole point. What I thought was also crazy was the third episode, because the third episode is when they get out of prison, and mind you, they spent 12 to 14 years in prison, I believe. All of them got out of prison besides Cory at that point. Cory they saved for episode 4. And it was just Yusef, Raymond, Kevin, and Antron. And they show them get out, and like, you see their relationship with like their parents, and like basically how life is outside of prison. And I feel like this is also an extremely important part, because honestly, when I was watching this, I thought it was a movie. So I thought the whole first episode, I thought that was it. Like, and then I saw that there were more, and I was like, wow, like, what are they possibly going to do more into this, when it's just like, I thought it was literally just going to be the trial and you just see what happens. But I guess it makes sense, because it's like, we already know what happens. So it's just like, I feel like it was smart for her to put that all in like one episode. Well, no, to do that all like together. And then I love how she showed the after fact, because I feel like this is extremely important too, because it's just like, y'all really need to understand how, especially if you're wrongfully convicted, so you're paying for a crime that you did not do, you lost so much time in your life already. So, but and then it's like when you get out of prison, you're still sort of like locked up. Like you're still basically still enslaved in a way, because it's just like it's hard to get a job. You see that with Raymond. It's hard to get a job, so he ended up going to selling drugs, which a lot of people do end up doing, because you want to know why? Because a lot of people, yeah, they say they don't hire criminals and they don't do all this stuff, whatever, but in real life, that's really what happens. So people end up going to, where can I get easy money? Where is a way that I can survive? And then it was just like relationships were just like falling apart. He went back home. It just wasn't the same. Freaking, what's her name from Orange is the New Black came out here. She did real good too. I had to up her because she played the real like sassy Spanish girl. And I was like, all right, girl, all right. Like, she even said something wild. She was like, oh, you're a rapist. Or even like Antron's girlfriend that he was dating, she was like, oh, I know what you do to these women and all this stuff. And it was like they didn't even do it. And it was just like the fact of them bringing that back into their lives, even though like they bringing that back and basically just calling them rapists and like all that stuff. And it just shows like life ain't easy after prison for people. Like it ain't. That's why a lot of people do end up going back, because it's just like it's new. Like imagine being in jail from 16, like Cory, from 16 to 30. All those years, do you know how much changes in life? Do you know what? We probably got internet. Like there was probably no such thing as the internet, and then they came out and there was a internet. Like it was just like there's so much just like around you that's just different. So it's just like I love how she incorporated that part too, because I feel like that's very important for people to see and for them to really understand like the aftermath. Like you said, we all already knew that they ended up getting convicted. We all knew what was going to end up happening. We all were sad. We all were upset about it. But a lot of people don't take into consideration the after fact of prison and what that does to people. Like, or even what's going on in prison. And I like how they showed a little bit of that too, because the prison system is not good. Like it's not good. We treat people terrible. And mind you, we do have rapists in there. We have rapists, we have killers and stuff, but at the same time, we got people who are in there for nothing. People who are in there for not wrongfully convicted people in there who are getting treated like these criminals. Wrongfully or like misdemeanors type things, fucking in for weed or selling drugs, whatever, in here with these murderers. So it's just like they're getting treated the same way as these murderers and stuff. I honestly, murderers and stuff, you're a rapist and stuff like that, I'm sorry, you killed somebody. Like I feel like you just, I'm not gonna say I wish upon rape or anything or murder on people, but like if you're a murderer and all that stuff, like I'm sorry, I honestly don't care. Like you took someone's life, you deserve to do the time. But it's just like it's crazy. So I really love how she incorporated that into the story, because I was really confused as to what was going to happen. And then the last episode was mainly about Cory. So you find out what happens to Cory, because while you're watching it, everyone's trying to figure out, they're like, what happened to Cory? Because I believe that they all ended up in the same prison. And then they're like, we don't know what happened to Cory after he got taken away, all this stuff, whatever. And basically they tried him for an adult. You're gonna try a kid for an adult off of no evidence at all besides a freaking coerced confession tape. And I'm sorry, those judges felt them. That judge felt them. That freaking jury felt them. Because I feel like watching those tapes, if those tapes were really like the way that they were shown in this movie, body language is everything. Body language, you can tell body language, stuttering, I guess, all this stuff. I feel like what people need to do, they need to record the whole session of the interrogation and then let people see it. Because and then it's just like, if I keep telling you no, and then now when I'm telling you the story, but yet my story ain't adding up, but yet you gotta help me. Like, I feel like that they should really show all of that. Like, I feel like all that needs to be in the court so I can really be able to understand, or I can really be able to see, like, alright, let me read this, let me analyze. Like, because I feel like when you analyze things, like, if it was really the way that it was they recorded it or whatever, how it was in the movie, I feel like if you were a jury or something, you should have known that it wasn't true. Because they were like, I guess. They were like, shivering. Like, it was just like a whole bunch of like, it was just a lot. And then also, it was just like, oh my gosh, this got me so mad too. Because mind you, Cory Wise, he had a learning disability. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but I know he was like stuttering. He couldn't read. And then it was like, they had him sign his confession, knowing damn well he couldn't even read the shit that they was writing on the paper. So when he was in court, they brought up something. He was like, I didn't say that. Like, I didn't say that. And he was like, I'm sorry, I can't. Oh my God, I'm about to cry. I don't want to cry. Yo, when I tell you, he had me. Like, he had me this whole thing. They all had me. They all were like really amazing actors. Like, I feel like if they don't get anything for this, if Netflix, like, I don't know, but they all were amazing. Phenomenal. Just great. Like, and I feel like, yeah, I'm going off topic, but I don't know, I just thought it was wild. He had a speech impediment, and he was like dating, I don't know if you guys ever saw A Wrinkle in Time, but like Storm Reed, that was like his girlfriend, and like he was reminiscing on like how life would have been if he decided to not go to the park. He started like hallucinating, and like thinking about like how his life could have been if he didn't make those decisions. And those parts got me too. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is just too much. This is too much. I don't know if this was a part of the story, like I said, or if it was a part of just trying to make it a little more you know, just the way movies do. But he ended up fighting the guy who actually did it. And what I thought was crazy was that he looked at him and he was like, hey, are you the guy from like the Central Park 5? And he was like, ugh, this also got me. Ugh, I don't want to cry. But he was like, I'm sorry. And in the movie, it was kind of a way of saying I'm sorry for the fight, but at the same time saying sorry for that you're in here because of me. Because he ended up being the guy who actually raped the woman. So, and then after that scene, after that scene, he ended up confessing and telling them that, okay, yep, it was me. And it was just like a triumph moment. They was just like so happy and like they were so excited. But at the end of the day, it was hard for me to be happy for them. Like, it was really hard for me to like cheer for them, and like, because it's so great. Like, now they know, like now, but we knew that. They knew that. They already knew that they didn't do that. But nobody wants to believe their truth. And another thing that I loved about it was with Cory, he had, I forgot what the they call that, parole. He had parole hearings, and they kept saying, are you willing to confess to your crimes? And he's like, I'm not confessing to something that I didn't do. And so every time he would just go. He was like, I'm not about to let y'all I'm not about to let y'all do what y'all did to me before. I'm not about to let y'all convince me and tell me that I did something that I did not do. I'm not doing that no more. I'm not doing it. And I loved it. It was crazy. And like, it was like crazy because you saw everything that he'd been through while he was in prison. Like, the guards just watching him get beat up. And that stuff happens. The guards watching him get beat up. The freaking he got raped. I'm pretty sure he ended up getting raped. And I'm pretty sure the cop was like, but I loved one of the cops. Like, one of the cops was in prison with him. I'm about to cry again. One of the cops that was in prison with him, he was really nice. Like, he cared about him. Like, it was something, I don't know what it was. He saw something. Maybe he believed him. Maybe he knew. Because, I mean, you got to remember, like, this story was all over the news. So everyone's seen it. This was a viral story back in the day. So everyone's seen it. Even Donald fucking Trump. And let me mind you, Donald Trump, that's your president. That's your president right here. And he was talking about the death penalty. We need to bring back the death penalty. All this stuff without even knowing the story. What evidence did you have that you got to say that? I felt like he was just a clout chaser. and he just wanted to find a way to bring himself into shit that didn't involve him, which like he does now. And if you notice, Donald Trump only this ain't about him, so we ain't even gonna get into that. But anyway, it was just like, it was just crazy. But it was just like, that cop was like, I loved him because he had his back. Not the first cop, but because like the first cop, I don't know what he was trying to do with him. He was like, if you need my help, what can you do for me? And the way that I took that, I'm thinking like maybe he was like, you know, trying to like, you know, do, but they didn't verify. So I don't know. But he ended up transferring, and then the other cop, he was like really there for him and whatever. So, and like all the parents in the show, I think they did a great job. Michael Kenneth, you had Niecy Nash. Niecy Nash, I felt like her character it was so cool to see her play in like a really serious kind of role, because I feel like every time I see her, she's always like a goofy kind of girl. Like she's always like the funny kind of like, just funny, like, I don't know if you watch Claws or like Scream Queens. She was freaking hilarious, and she's in a lot of other stuff too, but I feel like she's always like the comedy type person. So like they put her in a real serious kind of role. I just feel like they all played really good. Like they did great, and freaking Ava DuVernay, she did a great job with telling this story. Like it was just great. It was great. And it's just like, I feel so bad, but I was watching an interview, and it was with all the kids who were besides Jarrell Jerome, all the other kids, and like they were talking about how when they showed the movie at a premiere, and like they all went there and like they bowed and everything, and he was like, in that moment, like, don't look at it as like a trauma or like a bad thing or whatever, because they were able to overcome it. It's a story about triumph. It's a story about overcoming. It's a story about injustice and overcoming that injustice. But at the same time, this is something that I feel like needs to be changed. Like we need to figure something out, because this happens to people. And honestly, I cannot imagine like if I was to, I can't imagine how these people feel. I can't imagine going through this, losing that much time in my life for something that I did not do. It's just crazy. But I feel like money is not going, and I feel like people feel like they can change everything with money, or just a little sorry, or like whatever like that. And it's just like, money is not going to give me my years back. Money is not going to give me my wife back that I lost. Money is not going to, you know, like all that stuff. And it's just like, it's terrible. Like something needs to be done. I don't know what, but guys, we need to figure something out, because it's terrible. Like it's sad. And I don't even know what else to say about it. But all I can say is that was a great series. I really loved it. I feel like if you guys did not see it, it is definitely worth the watch. I would say go watch it. It's hard to watch. I'm telling you, that first episode, I was just like, I can't watch this. Like, this is crazy. And I feel like it's important to share stories like this. And I feel like it's important to tell people stories and share these stories. So I really give a big ups to Ava DuVernay for even like taking her time out to shed light on this story and to make it more known, because a lot of people don't know about it. A lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know that these things are still happening. A lot of people don't know a lot of these things. And that's why you gotta put it in the movies, because people always watching shows. People always watching shit. Let me know how you guys felt about this movie, how you guys felt about the series in the comments down below. And yeah, let's chat. Let me know. Like, yeah. And like I said, this is going to be a new thing on my channel. I'm going to be doing reviews, because I have so many shows and movies that I really love, and I be wanting to talk about it. But yeah, so get ready for that. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.